What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa if you are new here, and today I am back with another cocktails and conversations video. As you can see, things are kicking off a little bit differently today, y'all, because I had a very fun brunch yesterday, y'all, and I may have had a little bit too much fun and overindulged. So today there will just be combos, not cocktails. The cocktail today is water with a splash of cranberry juice. But I am recapping the season finale of the Real Housewives of Potomac, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, last night's episode was a struggle. It was a struggle, y'all. Given everything that has been happening off screen in the Real Housewives world, it was really hard to watch last night's episode. Now, if you don't know what's kind of been going on in the Rhop world, just a brief recap. 2 weeks ago, the news officially came out that Robin and Juan got married, and literally like maybe a day after that announcement came out, there was a woman who started sharing receipts that she had been sleeping with Juan, and she had hotel receipts with Juan's name on it. And she also stated that Robin was very much aware that they were having an affair, and her only concern was, hey, just don't let this news get out. Now, initially, Robin denied it, but then fast forward to last week, Robin got on her podcast with Giselle and basically said, yes, I knew about this affair. It happened during COVID. Juan stated that he was lonely and, you know, he made this friend and I knew about it and we worked through it. And not only did she say that she knew about this, but she also stated that she knew about it the entire time the season was going on. So the entire season 7 filming of Real Housewives of Potomac, Robin was aware of this Juan news. And from what I heard, because I don't listen to Reasonably Shady and I was not gonna pay $5 to have her share that gossip with us or this headline news, from what I've heard was she knew about it while they were filming. She didn't want to share or talk about it on the show, but she was prepared for any of the women to bring it up on the show, and she was waiting for it. And given all that happened last week, it was really tough as a fan of the Real Housewives of Potomac and the Real Housewives franchise and a viewer to watch last night's episode, because it just came off as like none of these women are really being truly authentic. So given that, I will go ahead and give a recap. The episode started off with Ashley having a lunch date or dinner with her son, which I thought was really cute and beautiful. She moved forward and purchased a home with Michael, but that I guess he's not moving in with him. But they are co-owners on the home. She discusses her concern that the boys may resent her for leaving Michael, and she's kind of trying to navigate that. Something I thought that was interesting and wild to me was she said her mortgage is $13,000 a month, y'all. I'm not in that tax bracket, so it is super crazy and wild for me that a mortgage would be $13,000 a month. Something I thought was interesting also was the fact that her mortgage is $13,000 a month. She said she cannot afford that on her own, but somehow she feels comfortable moving forward, buying this house with Michael. I don't know. That makes me uneasy, because you would like to think and believe that you have children with someone, although things didn't work out romantically, that you all can still remain friends and applicable. But I don't know if I would feel comfortable putting my mortgage and my home on the strength and on the back that this man is going to always be understanding, because all it takes is one woman to come in there and be like, I'm not feeling this, so y'all gonna have to like end this agreement, because he can't be paying for your mortgage and be taking care of me. That's just how my mind thinks, but good for her. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really, again, with everything that happened off screen, I'm starting to question if her and Michael are actually gonna get a divorce, because the idea that she bought a home with Michael doesn't make sense to me. She bought a home she can't afford, so she really technically does need him. And because we didn't really see much details on this whole divorce process between her and Michael, I'm not convinced. I'm not sure. We will see. Next, we move on to Mia calling Karen, and Mia just basically discloses to Karen that the ladies were gossiping about her and continuing to perpetuate and push out this narrative that she is having an affair on Ray. And Karen gets upset that Mia did not defend her. And I don't know. I get it. I would be upset. I don't know if we should be surprised that Mia was not defending Karen, because Mia seems to try to get in where she fit in and tries to stir the pot a little bit. Not as bad as Giselle and Ashley, but I mean, I don't know why Karen would think that Mia was going to defend her. Mia is almost like that friend that's like, look, I'm just having a good time and I'm gonna fan the flame, feed the fire until somebody calls me out, and then I'll be apologetic. So following Mia calling and talking to Karen, we've got Robin, whose parents come over the house, and she basically shares with her parents that her and Juan are gonna get married in Jamaica, and her parents are still asking if they can be there. And she's just basically like, she feels like if she invites her parents, then she's obligated to invite the rest of her family. I don't know if anybody else thought that didn't make sense. I personally did not feel like it made sense. People can understand you just wanting to have an intimate small ceremony and wanting your kids and your parents there, and I'd like to think that people are mature enough not to get upset or offended. But then again, there are some families and communities where, like, if you don't invite them and all they can't vote, then they get upset. So I did think it was a stretch, but hey, that's Robin for you. That's Robin. She tries to stretch certain things that make no sense at all, and try to convince us that it makes sense. So moving on, we have Mia. She's at a doctor's appointment, and she is basically closing up loose ends with her health concerns. Sounds like she has a reasonable, good bill of health, just a few small onesie-twosies, but I don't know, y'all. And then after that, along with Mia going to the doctor, we have Giselle picking back up the conversation of her basically saying she's gonna move forward and have surgery to, address her fibroids. And she shares that with her daughters, and they have a conversation about kind of what's going on. I'm not gonna lie. The first half of this episode felt like they were grasping for straws and felt like they were trying to close up loose ends on things that, from me, my personal opinion, never really became a big hot topic or storyline on this show. Like the Mia medical situation, we got like 2 episodes, like the first 2 episodes of the season, where Mia was really concerned about possible cancer or life-changing health issues, and then it fizzled away. We got 45 seconds, y'all. 45 seconds, if that, of Giselle talking about her fibroids, and then we never heard of it again until this last episode. And then the Ashley divorce thing, like way that social media blew up the fact that Ashley was getting a divorce. I honestly went into the season thinking that a lot of the season was going to be centered around Ashley and her journey of getting a divorce from Michael. And I felt like we saw her going house hunting. We saw her go talk to a lawyer. Outside of that, I felt like I was left short of some very substantive storylines, individual storylines from a lot of these ladies. And I felt like the first half of this episode last night was them trying to close up loose ends on things that they really could have just not brought up, because it's not like there was any fruitful things that came out of these storylines throughout the season. The second half of last night's episode was Candace's video premiere party, and Wendy looked good. A lot of the ladies looked good. I thought it was fake that Giselle rolled up and walked in and basically was like, hey, Chris. And throughout the whole video release, you have Giselle and Ashley getting upset and impatient because during Mexico, Candace has shared that Chris wanted to have a conversation with them to discuss this accusation that they were perpetuating on the show, and they just kind of felt like, you know what, now was the time to discuss that. And I thought it was funny because Chris, at his wife's video premiere party, understandably is like, I don't want to ruin or take this moment away from my wife. So now is not the time to discuss it, but those two individuals, they couldn't understand why Chris was not giving them that moment that they so desperately saw. And they got a little bit of it last night, but I felt like it wasn't anything substantive that made me feel like it made the episode better. I will also say that Chris and Candace, I feel like they're a beautiful couple. I feel like their love is genuine. I really enjoy seeing them on camera and the moments where they are just being very vulnerable and upfront about their relationship and their love. I thought the speech that Candace gave to Chris and his reaction to it was very beautiful. I thought that was cute. That was probably maybe my favorite part of tonight's episode. It was beautiful. I love that. So throughout Candace's video premiere, you have the lady still pushing and talking about Karen and her numerous affairs that she's had with different men in the Potomac area. Giselle basically say, well, I know Mia shared with you that you were a hot topic at the bachelorette party, but did Mia share with you that she called you a prostitute? Now, they did pull up the receipts, and Mia, she didn't say that Karen was a prostitute, but she did insinuate and ask a question of like, so basically what y'all are saying is Karen is a prostitute. Although Mia didn't outright say, hey, you're a prostitute, the fact that she asked the question to be shady, you know, I think Karen was justified at being upset. Mia then comes over and has a conversation to kind of defend herself. And I thought it was interesting that Karen actually sent Ray away. Me personally, my personal feelings, I kind of felt like that was Karen like trying to make sure that some of this gossip and this news doesn't get back to Ray. I personally feel that, this is my personal opinion, I personally feel that, you know, Karen does have her little boy toys around the DMV area, allegedly. I think the rumors about her having multiple affairs, I think there may be some truth to it. I would not be surprised if Ray is aware of it and just kind of tries to turn a blind eye. And I think the fact that she sent Ray away while her, Mia, and Giselle were, you know, trying to air out these issues, I thought that was telling. I almost took it as either she is out here doing things and he doesn't know about it and she doesn't want him to know about it, or she is out here doing things and Ray knows about it, but he may not know all the details. Or, you know, again, like, even if he knows about it, I'm sure he don't want to hear about the details of his wife's alleged affairs that she's having. So I thought that was interesting. Mia also shares some other news and gossip that apparently Karen is having an affair with a restaurant owner's best friend out in PG County. Again, it was a whole lot of conversations about the affairs that Karen is allegedly having throughout the DMV, and it's just kind of like, okay. There we go. This is all we're doing. We're gonna just continue to beat up and continue to stir the pot on all these dramas and rumors. I also thought it was annoying and interesting that in the midst of them trying to air out Karen and her business, you got Charisse coming in and basically like, do you got something to say to me? Boo, 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 boo. And it's just like, girl, just go somewhere. Like, go somewhere. We know you want a moment. We know you want to be a part of the scene, the drama, but just go somewhere. Like, matter of fact, all of y'all go somewhere, because this is getting tired. It's getting old. This is boring. Whatever. After the ladies are done trying to air out Karen's business, eventually her and Ray leave, and then things circle back to, again, Ashley and Giselle wanting to talk to Chris. And Candace is just like, look, he's just not trying to have that conversation tonight. Tonight's my night. He's trying to be respectful of that and honor that. And I thought it was funny. Giselle was talking and Candace was like, all right, disco ball. Hilarious. I love Candace. She comes quick with her reads. I will say this. I do think it is fair for both Ashley and Giselle to want to have a conversation with Chris, especially the fact that Chris was on social media tweeting and saying things about the two of them. So I do think it's fair, like, look, we're here, let's go ahead and air this out. Let's go ahead and put this out here on the table. But on the same sugar breath, I'm a person of like, if someone's not ready to talk to you or not ready to have this conversation, let's not force it. And as we saw towards the end of the episode, it didn't go well. Ashley approached Chris and, called him out about the tweets and stuff like that. And Chris initially was kind of keeping his composure and going along with it. But when Ashley made this comment about, hey, look, if people feel like they're uncomfortable around you, then, almost saying like, if people feel uncomfortable around you, then there's some truth to like this comment. And, rightfully so, he got upset and blew up and had to be pulled away. And Ashley tried to make it seem like, we're adults, why can't we have a conversation? And it's just adding to this layer of frustration of like, yo, you all know why somebody would be upset. Like, these are serious accusations that you're making about this man possibly, sexually harassing y'all. That's how you all are kind of talking and going about it. And if he knows he didn't do it, then of course he's gonna get upset. Like, that's a huge accusation that y'all keep perpetuating and making light of for the strength of a storyline on this show. That's where like most of the ladies, seasons in at this Candace video release party. I thought it was interesting and telling that they said that Mia's businesses, a lot of her franchises, were not in good standing, and that her and Gordon had to move out of their home in Potomac. So I'm really curious to figure out like what happened with that. I think they did show a clip about Mia's friend kind of airing out her business a little bit, so I'm curious about that. Chris lost his job. I'm curious to figure out whether some of these accusations contributed to him possibly walking away and stepping away from his job. There were a few things in there, what are they doing now, update, that I'm curious to kind of see what is going on. But with Potomac, now that we know, you just never know if they're actually gonna come to next season and share more details about questions and things that are going on in their personal life, or if they're going to continue doing this like, let's throw paint at the wall and create drama and hope that creates a good season. The very last part of last night's episode was, of course, Robin's wedding. I will say I was very happy that although she didn't have this grand wedding, I was very happy that there was a wedding that was a part of the show, and we didn't get like video footage of somebody who was randomly there taking, video footage. Like, it seemed like, from my standpoint, it seemed like Bravo and their crews were there at the wedding. So I thought that was good. I thought the wedding was beautiful. Like, her decor and how I thought it was beautiful. I love the fact that they had the couches where her family and her sons can sit and actually view the ceremony. I thought it was beautiful. I thought her dress was beautiful. I thought her hair was beautiful. I thought her makeup was beautiful. The wedding was beautiful. I'm not gonna take anything away. It was beautiful. I thought it was funny that they ended up having it in Maryland and not Jamaica, which I don't even know if I'm really surprised that they ended up not having it in Jamaica, because it didn't really make sense for her to try to tag along and ride somebody else's wedding coattails to have her wedding. But overall, I thought the wedding was beautiful. I will say, after watching the footage from last night, I maybe feel a tad bit more convinced that maybe they are legitimately married. I don't know. Like, I was trying to watch their emotions in their face to kind of see like, oh my gosh, maybe there's something I'm overlooking, and I'm just confused. Let's just say that. I'm confused, especially with everything that has been going on. Like, I feel like I could believe that Robin loves and cares for Juan. I don't know if I'm totally convinced that Juan is like head over heels in love with Robin. It's just confusing. It was a beautiful wedding though. It was a beautiful wedding. I'll leave it at that when it comes to their wedding. It was a beautiful wedding, and if they are truly married, I wish them nothing but the best. Overall, this season was pretty uneventful and boring. I feel like there were definitely very animated, heightened moments in this season that got a lot of social media conversations going. But when you actually watch the entire season in its entirety, there was not a lot there for me personally. And honestly, Again, as someone who's a fan of the Real Housewives franchise and the Real Housewives of Potomac, I feel like after this season and everything that happened off camera, I am very disappointed, and I don't know. I am not excited in any way, shape, or form for next season. My reason for that is because with it now coming out that Robin, hid such a huge piece of information and storyline from us, I'm now questioning everyone on the show. Like, is everyone being honest and transparent? And something that I did stay up and watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, because last night Robin was on the show along with Ebony K. Williams. And one thing, I love Ebony K. Williams. I actually wish she wasn't on last night's show. I kind of wish that it was just Robin and Andy having a conversation, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And during that conversation, I noticed that Andy had asked a question that I feel like a lot of us as viewers were frustrated at the fact that Robin and a lot of these women are on this reality show, and the premise is that you're going to share your lives. But some of these women on the show, particularly Robin, Giselle, I feel like Ashley, not really being honest and upfront about their lives. And Andy had asked her, like, do you feel like it's right for you to be on a reality show and not share your life? Oh, Karen, I feel like is also recently been not sharing a whole bunch about what's going on in her life. And Robin was like, I think it's okay. Like, I feel like it is okay for us to be on a show and not give everything. And that frustrated me. It pissed me off. I could understand if you are approaching a reality show, you setting certain boundaries of like, hey, these certain things are off limits. Like, I'm not going to offer up my children to the world. Maybe certain family members I'm not going to offer up to the world. Maybe certain health topics I may not share. But, for the outside of those things that I have set boundaries on, I'm going to be open and honest and transparent. And I feel like Real Housewives of Potomac, they are setting a precedent that I don't particularly like when it comes to reality TV, where they want to pick and choose what they share about their life. I feel like they are being really guarded about what is actually going on in their life. And it comes off for me as a viewer like these women are throwing paint at the wall. They're trying to stir up and initiate drama in the hopes that the drama of the season, the few moments of drama during the season, is going to make for a great show. And as a viewer, myself personally, I don't think so. It's not making for a great show. It's actually making for a terrible show. I feel like all of the Real Housewives shows, from my standpoint, got a pass the seasons following COVID, because I feel like everyone, Roni, Atlanta, Potomac, all of them had horrible seasons right after COVID. And for me, I gave them a pass. But these few seasons that are coming out post-COVID world, they're still not good. They're still not good, in my opinion. They're not good. And Atlanta, I'm trying to give them a little bit more credit and patience. I thought last season was okay. It was better. It wasn't great, but it was better. Last season we had, Cynthia wasn't there. We're still having multiple seasons with Nene not on the show, which we know she's probably never going to come back. And you had 2 new housewives. So I feel like there was a lot of dynamic changes. You had Sharice come back. So I feel like there were a lot of dynamic and changes on the Real Housewives of Atlanta that they deserve a couple of seasons to kind of get into a regular routine. Real Housewives of Potomac does not deserve that same grace and understanding. These have pretty much been the same ladies for the last 3 seasons. And I just kind of feel like they are starting a trend of like, if we create enough drama and if we get into a group or activity and we start talking about people, and if we try to create this big narrative of the season and try to make this the shining light, that'll make the show good. And for me as a viewer, I think it's horrible. I think the show really sucks. I like the Real Housewives when, yes, there are those key moments in the season that are super heavy and rich with drama and gets them as a group talking and gossiping. But I also like and appreciate when we see their personal lives and things going on. Like I miss, the storyline about Monique and her husband and, Monique growing her businesses and her podcast and them having kids. I miss the seasons where Candace was trying to figure out and balance the relationship with her mother and her husband. Like those are real, those are authentic. I miss the Karen narratives and storylines where it's like her and Ray were having financial issues and, her trying to figure that out and get back on her feet. Although she wasn't completely upfront and honest about it, you could see that, like, yes, behind closed doors, there were issues and things that they were going through financially. And to see where she started on the show, where she was temporarily during those financial hard times, and now where she is, it's like, I enjoy and miss those moments on the show where you get to see these women, in their personal storylines as well as their stories as a group of friends together. Those were all rich and substantive things, and I felt like those seasons, that's when Real Housewives of Potomac was good. Now, I'm hoping and praying that there are some cast shifts. Let's get rid of Robin, y'all. Let's just be honest. I'm hoping Robin does not come back. I'd be okay with Giselle leaving too, but I'm not going to ask for too much, but I'm hoping that Robin does not come back. I'm hoping that somebody at Bravo or the people above really gets into these women's behind and be like, look, we're not gonna do another season where y'all just try to create and start drama and then hope and pray it sticks and it's a great season. Like, you all need to be open about some parts of your life and your family. And if you're not willing to do that, then let's just go ahead and sever this tie, this relationship, and let's bring somebody else in here. That is what I'm hoping and praying for season 8 of Real Housewives of Potomac. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you liking it helps me to grow as a channel. Make sure you subscribe. I am going to do the cocktails and combos for the next 3 episodes, the reunion episodes. Hopefully we get a little bit more closure and some good conversations in those episodes. I do have some more great things coming to my channel, y'all. So you're not gonna wanna miss it. Make sure you comment below and let me know your thoughts. And as always, I will see you all in the next video below.